There's a very exciting list of artists this year. We have 3 world-class pianists, Pavel Kolesnikov and Samson Tsoy from Russia, and Alexandra Dariescu from Romania, who's also wonderful. The themes of the festival this year are really about including Gower artists, Gower composers, and encouraging and promoting young talents to appear in the festival. Last year, the Cymanfa Ganu was an enormous success, so we want to repeat it this year, again with the wonderful Alwyn Humphreys conducting, and we have a new soloist in Gary Griffiths, who's from Pembrey. He's regarded as a young Bryn, has an international career and currently singing with WNO in Cardiff. So that will be a wonderful night full of hoyle, and to see a chapel absolutely packed is very, very moving at Three Crosses. The other highlights, I'm inviting back Wyn Davies, who's a local boy, was a local boy, born on the Gower. He was head of the Buxton Opera, and at the moment he's head of the New Zealand Opera and lives in Auckland. It's wonderful to have him back. He does a wonderful cabaret evening, which is great fun, which he calls, he says himself, cheap tunes, but in the best possible taste. It's very, very funny, and I think will attract a big crowd. In addition, we have the wonderful oboist John Anderson, who is also from the area, who left college at the age of 19 to become principal oboe of the Orchestra de Suisse Romande in Geneva. So it's great to have him back. The many highlights from the young artists is we have Emma Halnan, who won the Carl Jenkins Music Award last year. She's going to come and play the flute. We have the Menuhin School Orchestra coming. It's the last year of the current music director who's retiring, and he wanted to include us as his sort of swan song, farewell. And 3 days after they play for us in Oystermouth Church, they'll be going to Gstaad in Switzerland to play in the Gstaad Festival. So we're very, very privileged to have them coming. There's a brilliant young Turkish cellist called Jamal Aliyev. He's an award-winning cellist, still in his mid-20s. We have the Haru string trio coming, and thinking of local talents, there's the academy which Dennis O'Neill started. We'll get the best stars from there to give an evening of Italian opera arias. That will be in Gowerton Church. And also to encourage young, the Abertawe Festival will present to showcase their best young talents from this year's festival to give a lunchtime concert. So you can see it's a wonderful mix of music, but with truly big international stars as well as local ones. And I think there's music really for everybody in all tastes. So one interesting feature is which people probably don't realize, there are a lot of logistics in the festival, because we're one of the few festivals in the country actually that moves from different churches every night. In most places they would have one church, maybe 2. We are using about 12 or 13 churches this year. So the piano gets moved 7 times, in fact, which is a big job, because it's got to be moved, it's got to be tuned, people rehearse with it. And we were very fortunate with the Gower that we were able to buy a new Steinway 17 years ago, which is a wonderful instrument. Then it had a major overhaul 2 years ago, which we raised a lot of money for. It was quite expensive. It's rather like an expensive car. You have to really look after the instrument well. And it's sort of very, very interesting. In fact, in the early years, I think they used to move, somebody said they moved the piano, the then piano, by horse and cart between different churches. Now it's a bit more motorized and a bit smoother. But it's quite an adventure on the logistics side of it then. Well, of course, the Gower is the area of natural outstanding beauty, the first in the UK, and it is a beautiful part of the world, and it has these wonderful churches. We'll use 12 of them this year. They all vary incredibly in size. The largest church we'll use is at Newton, which holds about 210, and the smallest, I'm just looking through the list, it probably will be in Ilston, which is in the heart of the Gower, not really known, but absolutely stunning church, which holds about 95. So each church is very unique. It has its own setting, The acoustics are all wonderful. I think the audience enjoys coming. This year we'll also include in the program the history of the churches, so you'll be able to read about them as well as listening to this fantastic music with great artists. We're very, very lucky. Many of the performers have performed here before, possibly before they were well known, so they come back because they love the area, they love playing in this festival, and obviously play for reduced fees, otherwise we wouldn't be able to afford them to come. We have the wonderful Wihan Quartet coming from Prague, the Czech quartet. Pavel Kolesnikov appeared here 3 years ago and was a huge hit. Since then he's gone on to play in sort of every major concert hall in the world. And also Alexandra Dariescu played 2 years ago and was an enormous hit. Was one of the few people that I can remember actually having a standing ovation. If you go to America, virtually every concert is a standing ovation. In this country it's more unusual. It's got to be a very special concert. And John Anderson, the oboist, grew up here, and his parents lived here, and he's coming back, I think, for the 4th time over a period of 20 years. So it's wonderful getting these great artists to return and to put something back into the community, into the area of somewhere where they love coming to. Someone asked me, how do I choose the artists in the festival? It's a difficult job because there are so many artists that want to play, but I'm very lucky in one of my jobs is I'm artistic director of a foundation called the Hattori Foundation that gives enormous financial support to students before. It's the period when they postgraduate to making it in the profession. So I hear many artists, maybe 20, 30 a year, and I suppose I pick out the best ones who have all these fantastic qualities. Now everybody I listen to will play technically perfect, but it's far more than that. It's this ability of communicating, and the relationship between the performer and the audience is so important. So for instance, Alexandra we supported for 2 years with the Hattori Foundation, and Pavel we supported for 3 years, and Samson for 1 year. So I know them since their early 20s, and now they're late 20s. And I've seen their development in the profession of playing in the proms, or Pavel played this year in the Swansea Festival, he played Tchaikovsky Concerto. And the cellist I've chosen to come actually is a student of Thomas Karl, who's from Swansea. He studied with him at the Menuhin school for 5 years and now is studying at the Royal College of Music, and he's only 22, 23 years old. He's Turkish, but an incredible talent. But he has this amazing ability to communicate without words to an audience, plus they can actually talk about the music to the audience. So it makes the music alive for the non-musicians in the audience. And as a performer, it's interesting that you're actually more comfortable generally in a bigger hall which holds 1,200 people. You don't see an audience as a sort of black, if you like, of theatre. You're totally absorbed into your own world of playing, performing. But in the Gower, they're all very, very small venues. So you actually, an audience is virtually on your lap. And that's a very, very different experience. In some ways, can be a little bit intimidating or frightening. So it's very important to choose artists that also make the audience feel totally comfortable. Not in their ability to play, but also to communicate. Because I think ultimately that's what music is all about. And one reason we've had fantastic success in the last 4 years is the audience has built up with this communication between performer and audience. It's a two-way communication. I'm really pleased to be playing myself in 2 of the concerts. One with John, because we grew up together on the Glamorgan Youth Orchestra, where I used to play viola when he played oboe, and we've played many concerts together all over the world and recorded CDs as well. So that's one concert I'm looking forward to. The other is very special. It's with the Wihan Quartet. We're going to play one of the greatest pieces of music for piano and string quartet by Dvořák, the Dvořák Piano Quintet. I played with many great quartets in the world, with the Takash Quartet and the Cleveland Quartet, but I've never actually played this piece, which of course Dvořák is Czech, with a Czech quartet. So that's a very exciting new appearance for me, which I'm really, really looking forward to. That'll be the first concert actually of the festival at Newton Church on July the 1st, and we go through the whole time, except for 2 free days for the committee to get their breath back, until the 15th of July. So it runs from the 1st of July to the 15th, with, I think it's 15 concerts in the whole period. Tickets are available in May. Friends are able to buy them a month early from April. They're very, very reasonably priced. The cheapest one will be the Gamanva, which is £5, and the most expensive is £13. Most of the concerts are actually set at £13, which is we're able to do because we have fantastic local sponsorship support. So the festival works so well because there's a fantastic committee. They work all the year through to produce these 15 days of concerts. It's an enormous job, actually. It's all totally volunteer. They're all incredibly dedicated, work very hard. Each one has a different role. It's like a sort of well-oiled machine that works that people wouldn't sort of realize how well it goes, in a sense. It's really fantastic what they do. They all love it. They come and, of course, listen to all the concerts. And they do it for the pure love of being involved in the project.